welcome to Let's Play Gran Turismo 3, episode 104. And where for this segment, we are now going to get on with part 2 of the Professional Dream Car Championship. And well, up to this point, all I can really say is, well, I've won all 4 races. And I'm hoping I can make that a clean sweep. Judging by how good this championship has gone so far. So, 4 dubs to my name, and we still have 3 races to go. Championship is pretty much in the bag, don't need to change anything. And yeah, let's go to race number 5. So, not particularly going too hard on the revs in the early stages. I mean, I know that since the 4-wheel drive guys are on the softer tyres anyway, and already the Altazza has been shuffled to the back of the pack as a result of running the gravel. I now pass my fellow STK and I have just the Pretzel in front of me, as of which I'm pretty sure I will get past him without too much trouble, as long as he manages to race between me, and that was my mistake. Just got a foot long in the gravel there as I was over the curbs. Had to shift down to 3rd there so that I was not sliding my way through the final corner. I'm already within the toe and up into 3rd position I go, and all I need to do now is just wait for these guys to pit, because the only reason why they're already up at the front is because, well, they have softer tyres, compared of course to the 2-wheel drive bunch, which is basically myself, the other Honda S2K and the Toyota Altazza. So the Pretzel, I would think he's going to be pitting in every 2 or 3 laps, methinks. And as for the front 2, well, I would imagine they'll probably be under a similar pit cycle. Just had to let go of the throttle there as I was on the curb, just so I did not go a foot wrong there. And I'm now within the slipstream of the Mitsubishi FTO. My super slick strategy is proving to work, of course, to my advantageous benefits, and now I'm up into 2nd position after only 2 laps, and the gap at the moment to the Tommy Kyra is only 2 seconds, and the FTO gives me a little bit of a nudge there, but nothing too serious because I was already sliding as I went through the hairpin, so no harm, no foul, because I was already loose as I went through the hairpin. Fortunately, I did manage to correct myself from the spin, and all I need to do now is just focus on seeing where exactly the Tommy Kyra is positioned, and after just 3 laps he is already in the pits. The FTO is going to continue for another lap, and already the Pretzel is also in the pits. So the ZZ2 and the Pretzel are both in the pits after just 3 laps, and I would imagine the FTO will be pitting in next time around except for saying he will only have to stop 3 times during this race, and I think that has effectively handed the race stub over to me, because I am on the Super Slicks. Is what he thinks. So, not really pushing too hard at the moment, just more or less maintaining track position as you would have anticipated. I know for sure it's going to be tyres that will decide the outcome of this race. I know these AI have got to meet at least once, because most of them, I would think, probably are on the racing slicks, or at least the 2-wheel drive bunch, or pair I should say, are on the Super Slicks in comparison to me, because I'm on the Super Slicks. Which means, of course, I will not have to pit in. Meaning, of course, that I will not have to pit in for rubber. And up to this point already, I would say this is going to be... oh shit. Almost lost it there. But I did manage to correct the issue before it suppressed itself. I decided to do this today is just because, well, I want to get this over with sooner rather than later, and then it means I will just have 2 championships left to focus on. And then heading into next week, the only thing I will really need to focus on is just figuring out when exactly I will need to start digital car, because if I'm going to make that a 3-part championship, or at least I'm going to try to make it a 3-part championship, then I'm pretty sure it will be a long one. Even though I'm pretty sure it will probably have to be a 4-part championship, just because well, it's the second longest championship in the game. I may also have to do the same thing for Formula GT as well, because that is ultimately the longest championship in the game. I'm pretty sure that will have to be a 4-part championship, judging by how long I think certain races are going to be. But again, because I only have to do 7 races in the Dream Car Championship, that's ultimately the main reason why this is only a 2-part championship. Alright, so 15.5 seconds now to my fellow S2000 who is running in 2nd. Then it is the Altezza in 3rd position. To just switched on, but it's fine because this microphone is noise cancelling anyway, and I now have a 16.6 second interval to the other Honda who is running in 2nd. And also, it is a shame on how for my segments I've not managed to compete against the Mazda RX-7 race car. I mean, that's one car I've not managed to compete against in this game up to this point, and I probably will have to do something about that at some point. You might see it in the clean-up race at Task Course, but you may also see me just try to purchase one by default of me basically going over to my other virtual memory card, saving the game on the second slot, and then trying to see if I can purchase the RX-7 that way. Just basically trying to see if I can purchase the RX-7 from my other garage where I've actually run the thing. And you know, it is a car I do want to be the owner of because, well, I figured it would be suggestible to do it that way. Just basically me purchasing the car from the other garage. Some people may not agree with this idea, but the truth is, I really don't care what people think. Because it is a car I've wanted to have in my garage pretty much throughout the entirety of this game. Probably about as much as I wanted the Ford Falcon before I purchased that. But again, I will have to think about it first, and I will be wondering in knowing if it's really worth the risk. I mean, it probably will be in some cases, but in other cases it might not be. But yeah, I mean, the only reason why I'm wanting to have that car in my garage is technically because, well, it's one car I've not officially shown in any segment of this game whatsoever. At least not in my version of the game. Until I purchase it from my other garage. And also furthermore, my best lap time at the moment is a 1:8.3, so I'm running fairly competitively, and it looks as though the rest of the field by now is pretty evenly split. Pit stops have of course divided the rest of the pack. So, 9 laps are in the books. This is going to be 5 laps to go this time around, and I'm steadily increasing my interval. I now have almost a 26-second lead, or a fat 26-second lead, as Jim McKay would say. It was the name of a dead motorsports commentator, but as Jim McKay would say, I have quite a fat lead over my fellow S2000 who is running in second position. The blue number 30 leads, I think, the red number 18. I think that's the number for the red one, if I remember correctly. Well, that's probably not the case. I'll have to check on the replay to be sure, but I think that's what it is. I think it's the red number 18, even though that probably doesn't sound right, but whatever. The truth is, I'm still leading the race, and I'm pretty sure this will quite easily be probably my 5th of 7 wins up to this point, and I think as far as I know this win will also give me the championship, mathematically, because we will only have 2 races to go. I would imagine the points margin will be 20 points, so I would say, on aggregate, mathematically, if I can score in the next race, which I think is at Route 11 reverse, all I really need is 1 point and then the championship is officially mine. But obviously, as I have been doing throughout this championship, I have just been flawless. To put it mildly, I've just been completely flawless. Even though for the clean-up races I'll probably also be using the F1 cars that I want as well, because that is something I do like to think about, since that is the main reason for the clean-up races. But you know, we'll just have to wait and see. So, 3 laps to go this time around. My lap times are more or less stabilised up to this point. I've now driven probably more than... more than probably 200 and... I would say I've driven about 264 miles by now. I think if you're wanting to convert kilometers into miles, I would say that is about 265 miles, potentially 266 by now. So, only 15 minutes into this race. Of course, midfield is quite a short course compared to all the others, probably the shortest on the championship schedule overall. And we are now onto the penultimate lap and overlapping the FTO once again, which is also something I have grown accustomed to throughout this championship. The Impreza is once again in the pits. I think the FTO is ahead of the ZZ2 in terms of their fight for 4th position in the overall standings. I would say 2nd and 3rd have pretty much been decided by now. I think all I really need to do now is just basically win this race, and then even if it comes down to a tiebreaker at the end of the championship, I'm sure it won't, but even if it does come down to correction, I will have this championship in my grasp by the time this race is done. Anyways, final lap. Yeah. I just remembered I will more or less mathematically have the championship in my pocket because I will have a 20-point advantage to the S2K, and even if he ties me on points, I will still emerge as the winner anyway because I've won 5 out of 5 races. And if all goes well, as which, oddly enough, all is going well at the moment, but if all goes well, then I'm pretty sure this will ultimately be, and my fellow S2000 does now come into the pits, and it looks as though he will go the full race distance like myself, probably the only one on the lead lap besides myself, as which I have overlapped all the other competitors. There we go. It is win number 5, the Professional DCC Dream Car Championship. He comes out of the final corner now. He is on the front stretch, and I won by 1 minute and 4 seconds. So once again, I nearly overlapped the entire field in that race. So the Altazza once again finished in 3rd, the FTO finishes ahead of the ZZ2 once again, and at the back as per usual, it is the Subaru Impreza, unfortunately. So, a 20-point advantage to the S2K, or the red S2K I should say. I would think up to this point the championship is pretty much decided, because I have a 20-point advantage, and all I really need to do for the final 2 races is score a single point. And, well... yeah, sure, why not? I mean, I haven't saved a replay at midfield for a while, so might as well save this one whilst I'm here. Might as well be the optional choice, is what me thinks. Alright. 5 races down, 2 races to go. Will I win both of them? Probably. Time for the penultimate race of the Professional Touring Car Championship, and it takes place at Route 11 Rivers. So, once again, yeah, okay. Honestly, there was no way I could have avoided that incident even if I wanted to. Because I was right behind the Altezza as it happened. The S2K clipped the inside wall, the Altezza was pretty much blocked on the inside, but somehow he still got the passing manoeuvre done, and as a result, he is now pretty much put pretty much both of them in a rather awkward position. Although, at the moment, of course, it is the Toyota that leads the other Honda. I mean, I know for sure the Honda is not going to lose second place in the championship with only 2 rounds to go, unless he has 2 literally horrendous runs in the final 2 races. Although, I wouldn't have thought of that to be the case because, well, I'm more or less certain the 4-wheel drive guys are going to be having a tougher time than the rest of us are, as I now dive down the inside of the Pretzel, and up to 2nd position I go, and all I need to focus on now is ZZ2. Let's see what happens. As of which, I will inevitably catch the Tommy Kyra before he makes his pit stop. I'm certain that I will probably end up winning the race anyway because of myself pretty much having the best tyres in the field. 2.6 seconds is the current interval, although I'm pretty sure that interval will shrink as this run goes along. Might not necessarily be on lap 2 or 3 where the manoeuvre will be made, but I'm pretty sure by lap 4, if he does manage to go that long on his first set of tyres, I would say that is probably where the race win will once again be decided. I've sweeped all 5 races up to this point. I am looking for win number 6. It appears as though the ZZ2 at the moment is out in front, benefiting in the shorter runs, as far as I can tell. And the FTO has still not managed to find a way past the Subaru. So I'm just going to let those two duke it out and see what happens. Even though yeah, got a little bit of wheel spin there as I came off the corner. Wheel spin combined with oversteer because I was down in 2nd when I should have been in 3rd gear. But already I can see the Tommy Kyra's tyres must be wearing down. I am within the draft and braking early just to break the toe of the draft that I have felt. Do not want to win this race dirtily. I try to be as clean of a racer as I can, and more or less a clean manoeuvre. A little bit of contact as I got my right fender on the inside, but nothing too harmful, I don't think. And so, I'm now up into the lead. Yeah, everyone's 11. Oh shit. Fuck my ass. I just hit the inside wall as I got on the curb. Something I shouldn't have done. Oh. Yeah, I just remembered. Third gear at the lowest, not second. Yeah, third gear at the lowest, not second. That's what it is I need to do, yeah. Third gear at the lowest, not second. And yes, I am giving some self-advice to myself. Fuck me. Fucking hell, that was terrible. I wasn't even concentrating. Hitting. I wasn't even concentrating on that maneuver. Although it doesn't matter because it's easy to still comes into the pits anyway. There's no other explanation for it. And the FTO stays out, so he's going to go another lap to effectively secure him that 4th position in the championship. And I would think the final finishing order up to this point in the championship has more or less been decided. Because no matter what my rivals do up to this point, even by pure default, I will still win the championship anyway, because even if I don't compete in the final race, I will still have the championship in my pocket anyway, because all I really need is 1 point, and then the championship is mine, and then once I've done that, we will just have to wait and see what happens. So, just keeping it clean at the moment. It's not really attempting anything too risky. This lap has been looking good. I guess it was necessary for me to shift down to second through there because I was losing the RPMs. But let's hope that doesn't happen too often. And through the final corner we go, and up the hill. And is this going to be a new best lap time? Yes it is. By under 2 seconds. So through the first corner we go, and now down to the first chicane. Everything is more or less going according to plan, as the S2000 now once again takes second position. He must have known, of course, that he would repass the Toyota for second position. Even though the Altazza, I'm suspecting, must have put up a pretty good fight between the two of them, but evidently my fellow S2000 had pretty much the stronger engine in the end to pull off the manoeuvre. And he was just basically able to motor right on by the Toyota in the process. So, just one race to go after this one. I am pretty sure that Monaco will obviously be an easy win for myself, because that's basically all that's really been happening throughout this championship. Just basically been winning race after race up to this point. this championship could very well be a clean sweep, and it will also be the first time since the Tuscan Challenge, I think, that I have officially managed to successfully sweep up a championship. So it will probably be the first time in a while that I have officially managed to sweep up a championship. And also the first time in, I think, 4 championship events where I have managed to go onwards and cleanly sweep all races in the championship. And I'm pretty sure the Infinity Digital Cup will more or less be the same thing, because I know exactly which car it is I'm going to use. I already know exactly which car it is I'm going to use for the Infinity Digital Cup, because, well, this is a car I pretty much thought about using from the start of the game, but I just didn't know if I would or wouldn't use the car itself. Here we are now. And ironically I set a new best PB. Sorry, a new PB I should say. Anyways. 6 laps are down. Still 9 to go before this race is history. More than certain this will be and I think I got on a bump a bit there as I went over the crest. I think there was something that caused me to bump a little bit there, but again, I don't think it's anything important because, well, excuse me, up to this point, I've really got nothing to worry about. I know I'm going to win the race anyway, because I've had the best tyres, and ultimately, it looks as though to me this is going to be another race. Oh fuck me. Yeah, I just fucked up that map. Yeah, I should not have done that. Anyways, apart from that, even though I have been doing a bit of crashing because of how quite, you know, goodly, consistent these tyres have been throughout the course of the race, it is ultimately the main reason why I've managed to go longer than anyone else. And also because, well, by default I've not had to pit. Now Route 11 does tend to cause tyre troubles of some sort. I would reckon they are going to be worn down before this race is done, methinks. The track surface I have noticed here at Route 11 from the endurance is quite abrasive, but regardless of the abrasiveness that this course has, I'm still going to win anyway by defaulted me just having pretty much the best tyres, and also by rubber banding pretty much being nowhere near as strong in the professional league as it is in the likes of the beginner, amateur and rally leagues. Yeah, I think I said those correctly. I mean, there are certain courses where the AI are stronger than me, but there are also certain courses where I am stronger than the AI. So yeah, it's pretty much a 50-50 split, if you ask me. What I think overall. And furthermore, yes, to those of you who probably know the YouTuber Black Panther, like him, I am technically a northerner. Although I couldn't tell you which part of England he's from, but I'm pretty sure Black Panther is a northerner, and as am I. I am a North Englander. And yes, I do very much consider myself to be English. Not necessarily British, but definitely English. Really got loose there as I came off the exit of that hairpin. So all I can really do up to this point is run you through the orders up to this point. So at the moment it is once again a Honda 1-2, as it basically has been throughout the championship. We have clearly looks like the most dominant cars all championship long. In third position, with his consistency of finishing with the bronze pretty much every week, is the Toyota Altezza. Well, every race I should say, but you know. The Toyota Altezza is running in third position, then in fourth. We have the FTO, I think, ahead of the Tommy Kyra, who is 5th, well, S4, who is at the back, well, it's still the Impreza. So, just 6 laps to go, and then this race is history. I do apologise if I'm not providing too much commentary up to this point, but at the moment, all I can really say is I'm just out in front. That's my overall comment. And I think by now, I've driven less than 300 miles in this championship, methinks. I think that's almost 300 miles I've driven throughout this championship. Although I'm pretty sure Monaco will be the longest one, because I'm pretty sure that will probably be 20 laps. And well, as for what I think the finishing order will be at Monaco, all I can really say is, well, the race itself is 20 laps long, and it will probably be another race where I pretty much overlap the entire competition. Such has been the domination of the blue number 30. Such has been pretty much the domination of the blue number 30. So pretty much leading by just under 3/4 of a minute now. Pretty much setting sub 2 minute times compared to the AI. It's all I really need to achieve. And try my hardest to keep it as clean as I can. And also just focusing actually on my race. So I could try and improve on my best lap time of a 1:52.9, but I really don't see any point. But I really don't see any point in doing that. Up to here. And someone was literally sliding as they went through the left-hander. Since this is the reverse course, I say left-hander. Of course, I will have to give this car some maintenance by the time I'm done with the championship. By the time I'm done with this championship, and I think that's now a total of about 300 miles. 486 kilometers. I think that's now a total of 300 miles that I've driven in this championship. I'm pretty sure that must be 300 miles by now. Although I will need to check and see what exactly the distance is at the end of the championship. Anyways, just continuing to set my checkpoints pretty much lap after lap up to this point. I know very well that I have new competition. Up to this point. Just keeping it all nice and clean up to this point. And so we now have just 3 laps to go after this one. So, here we are, just 3 laps to go now of nothingness, as of which pretty much the entire championship has more or less been races of dullness, in my honest opinion. I've just been virtually unchallenged all championship long. I would imagine the other 2 championships after this one are more or less going to be the same. The reason why I would probably make Formula GT a 4-part championship is because, well, there will be a separate segment because, well, there will be a separate championship. Sorry, a separate segment for the final race of the Formula GT Championship, because, well, that's basically going to be the Monaco Grand Prix. And yes, that is a spoiler, but the final race of the championship will officially be Monaco in Formula GT, and I'm also pretty sure that there will probably be a separate segment for that one. But as for the rest, well, that'll just be history. But dependent on knowing what I either will or won't do from there, that remains to be seen. That's all I can really say in response to that. So, 2 laps to go. Around Route 11. And then we should be done with our first of only 3 championship events. Under the super license. And then after this we will have ultimately have just 2 races left. Sorry, 1 race left. No, don't spin the tyres. Okay. Yep, okay, I just missed a shift there. Yeah, just being a little tardy there with the shift, but again, it doesn't really matter up to this point because I only have 1 lap to go anyway. And I've kept it clean all race long. I've not been using the walls to gain any advantages like I did during the endurance event. This has been a clean race, I might add, and a clean race that I am going to win on pure pace because I have the best tyres. And yes, I can now safely say I've pretty much driven well over 300 miles by now. Right, final lap around Route 11. Finally, because this is one of the longest circuits in the game. One of very few circuits in this game I can think of that's about as long as Test Course. Although at the very least, I can say this is a proper racing facility in comparison to Test Course. I've already overlapped the Pratzel up to this point, and I think this is where I could very well overlap the FTO before this race is done. The S2K is 1 minute and 7 seconds behind me. I don't know if he's pitted in for tyres or not. I don't think he will have to. I've just noticed there is a little bit of wear on the front tyres, but again, I don't think that's too much to become complacent about. Any chances the AI have of trying to best me in this race have more or less become redundant. And doesn't look like I'm going to get the FTO. Well, this could be my opportunity. Really had to get a bit forceful on the outside, sorry, on the inside of that chicane, but I might just have him for 1 lap down. And just cutting off the turn he might have. Anyways, and it is official. I have overlapped the FTO right on the final lap. Along, of course, with the Tommy Kyra and the Oppressor. Who will win in the end? It is the S2K who beats out the Altezza to 2nd place. So, won by nearly an entire lap over the rest of the field once again. Another Honda clean sweep of finishing 1-2. We are very much the Mercedes, more or less, of this championship. Just basically sweeping races week in, week out, and I think it's fair to say up to this point the championship has been decided. Because I have a 24-point advantage over my fellow Honda. The championship is pretty much settled by now. And so, let's now head over to the final race of the championship, which is Monaco. And we are going 20 laps around this circuit. Personally, I really don't see any reason why it needs to be 20 laps, because, well, I'm still going to go onwards and win the race anyway, but that's just going to be another reason why I'll overlap the entire field, but whatever, let's just get this over with. 20 laps of Monaco. Let's fucking go. I just had a look at the number of the other Honda, and apparently both of us are racing under the same number for some reason. Don't know why that's the case, but I guess it just is. And yo, look at the Impreza go. He's just straight up to 4th position already. And well, oddly enough, I have a feeling the S2K had a pretty good battle for second with the Altezza. And wow, the Pretzel just literally parked it as we went through Lowe's hairpin. He just virtually parked it through there. He just gave me no room whatsoever, basically. And just had to brake early because, well, that's what the Pretzel is doing. I think up to this point, the final finishing order for the championship has already been decided. And at the moment, I am currently involved in wrecking the Pretzel here. I think up to this point, he's just being an asshole at the moment because he's not letting me go. I know for sure that if he was not there, I would have probably been up there battling with the Tommy Kyron right now, but whatever. It doesn't matter. I've already won 6 out of 6 races. I'm certain it will be 7 by the time this race is done, because of how inconsistent the AI have historically been around this circuit. And once again, the Pretzel gives me an edge. He just does not want to give up second place, does he? So, just had to trade a little bit of paint there. And leaving him all the space he can get. And he takes the sensible choice and stays behind me. Not attempting anything risky that time. I gave him pretty much all the room in the world if he was going repass me, but unfortunately for him at least that did not prove to be the case. The Pretzel is still holding on to... Oh, I did not mean to do that. Oh shit! I have no idea how the wall was able to save me there. I mean, I was virtually loose once I got through the first chicane, and then once we went into the second one, and once we got through to the second one, I was virtually nowhere. I was just virtually nowhere before that wall was there. So the wall somehow managed to correct me from spinning as I went through the swimming pool section, and suddenly I think that was ironically what saved me from causing any further damage to my car. You know, if I really wanted to, I could have easily used the Honda for Monaco, but again, I thought it was probably more suitable for me to use the Camaro because, well, I was wanting to prove, of course, that you can win even using the heaviest of cars, which is basically what I very well proved in that race specifically. Anyways, I've more or less separated myself from the rest of the field, as I very much anticipated I would. And I have also discovered that virtually the other S2000 is more or less my clone, because we're both racing under the number 30, except for saying, of course, that the other S2K is in red, whereas I'm in blue. To use that inside curve to perfection, more or less, as I went through some of the rocks, and up the hill now, heading past the Hotel de Paris once again, down into Casino Square we go, and now going down the hill to Mirabeau, right before Lowe's hairpin. Just more or less feathering the throttle as I go through Portier, shifting back down to second to give myself a smooth enough exit, and it appears as though the Tommy Cairo has now separated himself from the FTO as well as the rest of the field, so I would think up to this point I know exactly who's going to finish second in this race. It's basically been the S2000 all the way up to this point, but this could very well end up being a different story, from what I can understand, because the Tommy Cairo has definitely looked strong here. Made a little bit of contact there with that outside wall. And the ZZ2 does now come into the pits after just 4 laps on this run. The FTO looks like he continues, as I would have anticipated. The Tommy Cairo, I'm pretty sure, will fall to the back, and I think the Pretzel is the only car behind him. So I'm fortunate to say that whilst the Pretzel was looking good in the early stages of this race, unfortunately he has officially fallen to the back of the pack. Unless he is still fighting with the FTO for second position, but I'm pretty sure up to this point the Pretzel is at the back, along with the Tommy Cairo, so I think that race has more or less been decided. Although this could be where the FTO manages to finish in second overall if he has a good strategy, or a reasonable enough strategy, I should say. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. So, across the line once again. I now go 3 times quicker on that one as I head through Saint-Devote, up the hill, under the street lights, into the Hotel de Paris, and then quickly following that up with Casino Square. Through Mirabeau we go, pretty much 27 seconds to the S2K up to this point, who has now officially taken second position as I predicted he would. And someone is in the wall for some reason. I don't know who that is in the wall, but I think that might be the pretzel. I think he may need a nudge to get... I think he may need me to give him a nudge to get him moving again. At least someone will probably need to give him a nudge. And I think because I have no challengers coming up to me at this point in the race, I would think I'm probably going to be the only one that will manage to get the pretzel moving again. Because I'm pretty sure he is in the wall, and he's lodged in there pretty badly, so he needs to get moving. So someone will have to give him a move on. Yeah. Oh, okay, it's the FTO. Oh, okay. I did not think it was going to be the FTO. Although I would imagine the only reason why that happened was because he was on virtually dead tyres, probably. So that was one thing I did not expect to happen. I did not think it would be the FTO that ends up in pit wall. That ends up in pit wall. And I think the pretzel is running in 5th position, so I think that probably means his... Yep. So I think that probably means his 6th position duct will finally end up to this point, since I have now officially put the FTO 1 lap down as a result of his wreck into the pit wall. Since I noticed he did of course crash into pit wall as a result of being on worn tyres, I'm pretty sure he will inevitably go 1 lap down to the rest of the field sooner or later as a result of that error, and that will give the pretzel 5th position on the road, it looks like. But dependent on what the rest of the field does up to this point, will more or less remain a question marker on who exactly will have the best set of points by the end of the race. So, 32 seconds is now the interval to Gas 2000. And that's all. Somehow able to correct myself from spinning, but it appears as though it is going to be a Honda 1-2 for this championship, basically like it was of course in the 1988 World Championship, where Honda had basically won all but one race and basically dominated every other race except for that one elusive race where they didn't win because of Nigel Mansell catching chickenpox. It is fair to say, of course, that had Nigel Mansell not caught chickenpox midway through the 88 season, then it is arguably a certainty that McLaren would have easily won every race. I'm certain McLaren would have easily won every race had it not been for Nigel Mansell catching chickenpox. And effectively the McLaren MP44 would have easily been the most successful F1 car of all time. Although oddly enough, the only car that officially comes even remotely close in terms of domination to the McLaren MP44 would notably have to be the Mercedes W07, which oddly enough in the season which it dominated, and I think that was like 2016 that was, when the W07 had won literally 19 out of 21 races that were held that season. They virtually won all but 2 races, and oddly enough, I would think under many circumstances that is a higher winning percentage. Shit. And up to this point, I would say I am definitely not going to lose this race. Although I'm not guaranteeing I'll overlap the entire field because, well, I still have quite a long way to go before the entire field has been overlapped. And I would think by the time that's happened, I would say the rest of the field has pretty much decided their positions. But yeah, I mean, McLaren in 1988, they basically won all but one race using Honda power with the dominant McLaren MP44. McLaren easily became the team to beat for probably the next 3 seasons after that, and the only 2 teams that were really there to have even opposable threats to McLaren during those 4 years were notably the likes of both Ferrari and Williams. Williams eventually battling McLaren for the Constructors' honours in 91, and I think Ferrari was the previous year before that, because they had Alain Prost. Alongside of Nigel Mansell, who after that season of course had notably moved back would eventually move back to Williams and eventually finish second to Senna by more than a race. I think I worded that correctly. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think I worded that correctly. That's about 140 miles an hour. Then I'm going down into the Nouvelle chicane. Though I still don't think there's any point in this race being 20 laps long because, well, that just further solidifies that I'm going to overlap the entire field. Which is basically something I have done on a numerous number of occasions throughout this championship. More or less certain I'll do the same thing again, from what I can understand. Laps are now in the books. books, and this time around it is going to be 12 laps in the books. We have just 8 to go after this lap is completed, and then I would say the rest of it is pretty much history. What I can understand. So, here we are. Very much destroying the rest of the field in this race, like I have been doing for most of the championship up to this point. And I would think it's fair to say that without any doubts in my mind, no doubts whatsoever, I'm going to overlap the entire field. I have pretty much no doubts in my mind before this race is done. So I'm now getting a draft from the Impreza. I think that was about 145 miles an hour as I went down into the Monaco chicane. That's what my speed was. I don't think it really matters too much because I've now put the Impreza 1 lap down, and I'm pretty sure the Tommy Cairo, once I catch up to him, he too will be 1 lap down. Although my lap times more recently have not necessarily been consistent ones. But at least I can say I am trying to see if I can improve on my best lap time. So 7 laps to go. Just shifting up into 3rd gear so that I do not spin the car. And more or less go into about 140 miles an hour down that back stretch. Oh shit. I hit the outside. God damn it. I'm nearly an entire lap ahead of the rest of the field right now, I can safely say. And I think it's fair to say, had the FGO not hit the inside Armco as he was coming into the pit lane, the Impreza would have probably finished last in every single race. Although, powers there might be, that is not the case, because Pretzel is running in 5th in this race, and I think that's probably where he's going to finish, as far as I know. And the S2K is right up there. I see him. I can see him from here. I'm going to overlap the Altezza, which we come up to the the end of lap 15. And going around the outside of the Altezza, who now hits the wall. And for me, I am nearly an entire lap ahead of the rest of the field. So here we go. Just 5 laps to go now, as I'm overlapping the Mitsubishi once again. And by the end of this race, he is going to go 2 laps down to myself, and pretty much an entire lap down to the rest of the field. So, meaning of course I will not have to wait too long for him to finish. Had to get a little bit aggressive there as we went through nose hairpin. Even though I'm uncontested for the lead, I know very well that this will be another dominant win. Had to shift down to second gear there. Just to keep myself in conduction with the racing line. And even though I am hitting the walls a lot, the truth is I'm not colliding with the walls as much as the AI are. To improve on my lap time too much, but again, well, that was heavy contact. He did not want me to overlap. I could tell with that sort of motion. He was not wanting me to overlap him, but I still did anyway, because, well, fuck it. I knew I was gonna overlap the entire field going into this race. And that's exactly what I think has happened here. And that's exactly what I believe has happened here. And I am going to make an effort in seeing if I can improve on my best lap time. Oh, damn it. Not really going to improve on my lap time too much anyway. So really don't see any point in me improving on my best lap because I've already done enough up to this point to say that I'm a lap ahead of anyone else. I really don't think there's any point in me just, fucking improving for the rest of this race. I mean, I know I'm an entire lap ahead of everyone else. That's what I know for sure. Although, fortunately, however, I only have 2 laps to go after this one, so the rest of it, as we all know, is pretty much history. Really is no methodical sorcery or trickery to say why exactly I've been in just complete control of this race. It's purely just because I've stayed in front all championship long. That's all I can really say. Nothing else. I've just stayed out in front. I've just stayed out I've just, you know, stayed out in front of everyone else. That's all there really is to it. Alright, 2 laps to go. A lap where I can finally say we are in the closing stages. Although, it would be a little less daunting if the sun wasn't quite as bright, because god damn it, that sun is bright. Although there are quite a few tracks in this game where the sun is very bright, but again, if the sun wasn't quite as bright on certain tracks, then it might not be as much of an irritation, but again, because that is apparently the case for a course like Monaco, then I would say the truth is there really isn't anything else I can say for it. Except for just wondering if I'm going to survive this race the rest of the way. By the way, when I say that, I know for sure I'm going to survive the rest of the way. Final lap of Monaco. This of course will also be the lap where the Dream Car Championship ends. And I've now driven more than 570 kilometers, which I do not know what exactly that distance is overall, but I'm pretty sure by the end of it it will probably be about 576, 577 kilometers once I've done with this race. Pretty sure that's what the distance will be. Although it will probably be more than that because, well, I will obviously be on the cool down lap. But anyways. Chicane now for the final time as we now head through to back down the Harbour Straight and through the pool chicanes as we now head past these luxury yachts and cargo cranes and heading through the catch fence, or just by the catch fence, and now heading through La Rascasse right before the bus stop straight, and it is going to be victory at Monaco, and ultimately, because I've won all 7 races, this championship is a clean sweep. Alright, it is official. The Dream Car Championship in the Professional League is a clean sweep, even though we started at test course, but I still won anyway because of, well, tyre strategies. So, overlapped the entire field in that race, as I predicted I would, and also, ironically, put the FTO 2 laps down because, well, he crashed on pit entry right before he made the stop, and so in the end of that, because the Tommy Kyra finished second in that race, that has given him 4th in the championship. It's a Honda 1-2, myself with 70, the other one with 40. The Altazza finishes 3rd, which officially ends his podium streak, and another 40 grand for winning, as I now have under 4 million credits. But officially, there we go. And ironically, the Tommy Kyra, as a result of that 2nd place and the FTO finishing last, he clinched 4th in the standings by 2 points. And also, furthermore, I have got to give some kudos to the Subaru as well, because he finished 4th in that race, and well, just to be certain, yep, a replay has been saved, and now it is time for the prize car. Well, first prize money, then the prize car. And we win, 250,000 credits. At least it puts me over 4 million now. And let's see what car we win. Hopefully this game will give me a car I don't already have. Oh, okay. Well, I'm pretty sure I have a car already with this iteration, but whatever. Excuse me. Don't really think I have too much usage for it, in my honest opinion. Because all it will really give me is just more money, but anyways, there we go. For the first time since the Tuscan Challenge, I have officially swept a championship. And next time we will be doing the Polyphony Digital Cup. And, of course, I am going to wash the car as well as give it an oil change. Because, well, I want to do that. And so, in the end of that, we are now 91.2% complete, and also I now have over 300 wins to my name in 354 race starts. And well, because this is basically the same paint coat scheme that I have with the 001 that I've already won, I'm just going to sell this one. Just because it's not in a different paint scheme colour. But anyways, after winning some money, I drove a total of 578.3 kilometers. And as I look on my laptop, that is a total of 359.3 miles. So I nearly drove a full circle's worth of miles in that race. And I do mean circular degrees. Virtually a full circle is what I've driven in terms of miles. So yeah, that's the prize car we win, even though it's not in a different paint coat scheme, unfortunately, which is why I just had to sell it. But anyways, 2 championships to go, and I now have 5 million credits. But anyways, I will see you all in the next one.